theater representing entertainment trail. The program you listen to every Saturday 4 to 6 on Newstalk 93 FM. And I'm sitting with the Ryan, the Alex S Ryan. That is, I have it correct here. Okay. Because I can't make me know so we can't say Alexis Ryan and not say Alexis S Ryan. I can't live on S.
My middle initial is quite important to me.
It is important. I have to oblige to the fashion designer, poet, track and field coach. So many things under your belt. So many feats under your belt. How do you do it? How do you balance all of this?
Well, God has blessed me with a very short attention span. So I find that I get bored very easily and I hate being bored. So there's always something to do. By typical day, I'm employed by the government of Anguilla as a customs officer from 8 to 4. From about 4 to about 6, I coach track and field almost every day except Saturdays where I coach in the morning. And Sundays, sometimes we might do an afternoon one, but I'm a church boy as well. Sometimes I go down to Sunday school and I teach youth on Thursdays at my church. I'm also on the radio in Anguilla on Monday nights and a sports disc jockey.
Oh there. I love this lot of things. What has inspired? I need to know what has inspired all of this. It's like a stew. What has inspired?
Well, I think there's a saying that says, if you are called the many children, I didn't ask to be a fashion designer. This came about because my grandfather was a tailor. I have been sketching since I was about 13 years. And then in my teenage years, I went to a group spot, so clothes didn't fit me well. So I was going in the stores and they was like, we don't have any size. I said, oh, okay, really? I'll go and get something made. And then, of course, I like to see people looking good. I discovered my purpose in the world recently, and I think that purpose is to bring beauty into the world. Whether it's by words, by fashion, by just being a role model, I think that is my purpose, to bring beauty in the world.
And how important is that for younger people who are watching this, younger people who are saying to themselves, you know, I don't know my purpose. I know people who are in their 30s and they're still lost, they still haven't focused on exploring and trying to find that because they've been told, listen, just go to school, get a good education, come out, find a job that pays well, and that's it. And some people are stuck in dead-end jobs. People who love that, that's good for them. But what about the people who want more and, you know, are searching for that sense of purpose? How do they pin that down?
I would say put God first and everything else will follow, because I look at my life after I left school. In school I was an introvert. I had a problem reading, and the English teacher I had actually made fun of me. I actually wrote a poem at the lit place where he asked us to tell him. While the poet was performing, I came backstage and I composed the poem and I performed it about 10 minutes later. And I think, you know, I had a problem reading, but I was good in terms of good words. My mother gave me a thesaurus, so every day I would try to read a big word and try to use it, although reading to me was torture. But later in life I learned, because you have to find what is your niche.
Yes.
My niche is empowerment. I like to read things about fighting social injustice. As you can see from the first poem, it was a play on myself. Because I have teenagers who say they can't take a picture because they have a pimple on their face and stuff like that. They look at little imperfections, and the first poem wasn't at perfection. It was basically poking fun at all my imperfections.
Yes, I noticed. It was amazing how you connected with the audience from poem to poem, and each time was a different theme, and it had to do with the inner man and the inner self, as well as how that comes out, transitions into society, and how it affects other people, because it has affected you and caused you to pen these poems, which you did.
As I said, God has blessed me with a short attention span, so I might get a call just by walking from here to there, and I have to write it down. And then it might It might be that 2 years later, 2 weeks later, I develop it into a poem. But every time I go to perform, I have to speed happen. I always let you write something new. I have to, else it would feel kind of monotone to me.
Well, what do you think about this festival? What do you think the Jamaica Poetry Festival, what do you think this does for the Caribbean and poetry, the movement of poetry?
I think it's wonderful. I think bringing different cultures together, different point of views together are very important because, you know, my point of view might be somebody in Jamaica's point of view, but together we can learn together and bridge that gap.
Yes, cultural exchange.
Yes.
Awesome.
And what might be a struggle in Anguilla might be a struggle in Jamaica, and we may learn that we are both struggling with the same thing.
Yes, that is
For
true.
instance, like politics. And I don't know if Jamaica had an economic downturn. I don't know if it's affected.
Everybody don't know.
Well, one of the poems I was going to perform named Salary, a love letter to Salary. Every time I performed it, everybody.
People can relate.
Yeah.
Can relate.
Yeah, I talk about salary as a lover. And then I ended like, why are we strangers?
Give us a piece of it, right?
Like I said, the whole thing is a 1 minute something.
You can.
Dear Salary, first of all, I would like to say thank you for all that you do. You were there for me when times were rough, through good times and bad times, glad times and sad times. And honestly, I know you have done a lot. But I have just one request. That you come around just a little more often. Stay just a little while longer. When you are here, I'm nicer. I smile more. I even laugh at my brother's jokes which never make sense. Do you see the sunny disposition on my face, Salary? You did that. So why is it that you leave so quickly? Is it because of my jealousy? If it is, I'm sorry. It's just that you said electricity gives you stress. Mortgage has no conscience. Food is always hungry. Water never ever runs, but the bill still comes at the end of the month. The car drinks more milk than the baby. Lately I've been feeling neglected because I have needs too, Salary. I remember when I was 18, we used to be just a good tag team, Salary and I. We used to go on dates dressed in the latest clothes. We used to go on dinners, not just Chinese. We used to be friends, but lately we act like strangers. Sometimes we act like we barely know each other. I miss you, Salary. Please, come home soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
With me. Thank you for what you bring to poetry, to life, to the younger youths. You bring yourself. Walking the walk, not just talking the talk, walking the walk. Fashion designer, he is. Athletic coach, he is. Poet, he is. Role model. And I don't know what next. There is much more to come. This is Alexis S Ryan, and I'm Kesley Kadonki signing off for Entertainment Trail, and we're at Ronnie Williams Center. Thank you.